Howdy, fellow movie fans, and welcome back for another edition of the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast, brought to you by PTE Creative. As always, we're your hosts, Evan and Dylan Davies. Now, we've been doing a lot of game shows lately, trying to liven up some things, change it up for ourselves, and you've concocted an idea that we are going to try today. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah. So it's a little similar to a game we played earlier where we took people who were born on our birthdays and tried to concoct a movie just using those people.
Yeah.
So this time around we're just going to do, I went to ChatGPT, even though I hate AI, must say. Even though when they become overlords, that will be used against me now.
Yep.
So I just said, give me 20 random actors, 20 random actresses, 10 random directors. And then we're going to try to create a movie, but it has to be within a franchise of your choosing.
Okay.
So my franchise that I picked was the James Bond movies.
So I have two options here. If I have to go straight up existing, that could be problematic, but I can try.
What do you mean?
So the two I chose, just to give myself some options, and I wanted to challenge myself at least a hair, because I thought immediately, let's just go Batman. I can do Batman no matter what.
Sure.
I still stayed in the comic book realm for one of them, but the one I thought of most was Resident Evil, since we talked about it on a previous show. And I was like, okay, I'd love to kind of reboot that franchise, because it's terrible. But then, does that count as an existing franchise if I'm rebooting the whole thing?
I would say that counts.
All right.
It's just you're making a different vision for it.
Okay, because the other thing
what is previously.
Because the other thing is, thankfully now I kind of got a clean slate if I wanted to, but I did think of doing the X-Men.
Okay. That's another good choice.
It's because then you got a ton of choices for heroes and villains and who you want to do.
Yeah.
In the movie.
If we do that, you're gonna have to. If you do X-Men, you're gonna have to. We're gonna both say like the things we'll need in the cast.
Yeah.
So if you do X-Men, you'll have to. I'll probably have to go to ChatGPT and add a couple more actors and actresses because the X-Men is such a big ensemble. What I wrote down that I need in my movie, like the absolute essentials of casting, were obviously a Bond, a villain, a main henchman, a femme fatale, or like the main Bond girl, another secondary Bond girl, an M, a Moneypenny, and a Q were the ones. Am I missing anything obvious?
No, those are the ones you need. Generally speaking, you could have a Bond movie with just those 8 characters and a bunch of randos, and you'd be fine.
That's what I figured. I was like, I don't think there's in this. Oh, and then I also wrote down like what setting I would want it in, and some of the destinations I would go to, and then I also wrote down some gadgets.
Okay. Yeah, I admittedly did not do a ton of 40.
And because James Bond is famous for a theme song, who I want to sing it.
Ooh, that's a nice touch to have. So the rules that we talked about previous is AI has picked directors for us, actors for us, and we have to choose from those lists. We do get one pick of anything we want, but it's literally like one person or something of that nature. So you get one guaranteed, I need this for my film.
Yeah.
And it could be an artist, it could be a composer, it could be an actor, it could be whoever you wanted to do it. So it is interesting with this challenge. I immediately scoped the list the second you sent it before the show, and I was like, I don't know if I can have much work in here, but I can try.
Yeah. My exact prompt was, let me pull it up real quick. It was, can you give me 20 random actors from movie history, 20 random female actresses, and 20 directors. Or 10 directors, I mean.
Right.
So literally it was completely random up to ChatGPT for what they said.
So let's go here first.
And we'll throw up the graphics of the pool we can choose from.
Right, we'll throw up the pool here. just for the visual, or just for the audio only listeners, I'm going to go through every list as quick as I possibly can.
Okay, that
Just do it.
works.
So our well-known directors, Steven Spielberg was a choice, which thank God. But then you have
Mm.
Jordan Peele, Taika Waititi, Agnes Varda, Werner Herzog, Spike Jonze, David Lynch, Robert Rodriguez, Catherine Bigelow, and Hayao Miyazaki. Which that's the best list we ever could have got because there's so many good choices
Yeah,
to
that's
go
pretty
off on.
varied.
Then this is where you kind of get boned unless it fits your vision of what you want.
Mhm.
Which there is at least an obvious choice for you of who can play Bond. A very obvious choice.
There's a couple of names that I'm pretty interested in.
So our actors Robert De Niro, Jackie Chan, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Will Smith, Bruce Lee, John Wayne, Eddie Murphy, Chris Pratt, Jason Statham, Jim Carrey. That's the first half. That's an interesting. Not a lot of youth there, a lot of stars.
Yep.
Then we go Charlie Chaplin, Keanu Reeves, Idris Elba, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mark Wahlberg, Bill Murray, Buster Keaton, Adam Driver, Sylvester Stallone, and somehow, some
I
fucking
know.
way, AI gave you your boy Dev Patel.
I when I saw that, I was like, oh yes, thank God. I was like, I he has to be in there
Yeah, I
somehow.
was gonna say Dylan will change his entire idea just to get Dev Patel in the film.
Yeah.
And then our actresses: Meryl Streep, Zendaya, Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Grace Jones, Aquafina, Octavia Spencer, Audrey Hepburn, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Emma Thompson. That's our first half. Which that's a bunch of wild cards, dude.
Hmm.
And then we go to Sofia Coppola. Woof.
Yeah, especially because it says as an actress,
Yes, it's not a
not as a
director.
director.
We have Lucille Ball, Tilda Swinton, Halle Berry, Kristen Stewart, Michelle Yeoh, which we all know I gotta use that somehow.
Yep.
Queen Latifah, Barbara Streisand, Dolly Parton, and Mae West.
Yep.
Which, like, that's what I thought we were gonna get. A lot of just scattershot everywhere.
That's what I thought as well. I thought it was going to be like an equal mix of like old and young, but it really is like kind of centered around like 1980-ish.
A little bit. The thing is, the actors list is a bunch of truly leading men.
Hmm.
But do they fit your project? The actress list is exactly what I thought AI might give us, which is just a scatter shot of shit.
Yeah.
Where you just go, well, you could have Meryl Streep, or you could have Sofia Coppola, and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? You know?
Yeah.
Almost for the challenge, like, there's somebody locked in for a piece on each one of the projects I proposed. That sounds really interesting and fun to me, but the rest of the project kind of sucks around it.
Sure.
So the question is, do I just go for the fun or do I go for the most successful project? That's going to be my ringing in my head. What do I pick?
Sh- Okay, so why don't you pick which one you want to do? Because I think if you do X-Men, I'm going to go back and just say, give me 10 random character actors slash actresses.
That's fair. Okay. You know what? For the fun of it, just so we can use some more of these names, I'll do X-Men today.
Okay, so real quick, what are you gonna need?
Okay. My absolute needs. I'm changing up the team just a hair. This is supposed to be.
Okay.
This is not the teen X-Men essentially that starts the team, but this is a younger team of X-Men as if they are in true adulthood now, but it's not like they have their full roster of like 100 plus mutants. So the team, the needs I absolutely have to have for the team, I have Professor X. Cyclops is going to be my leader. Jean Grey, Storm, Beast. I'm going to stick with Iceman and Angel, so I have like the original five, and I'm also adding Nightcrawler. And my real outside pick I'm excited about is I'm taking Dazzler with me. Do you even know who Dazzler is?
No, and I like the X-Men. I've never heard of that
So
person.
Dazzler is one of the most absurd crossover characters ever, and she's kind of awesome because of how absurd she is. Dazzler is a disco queen mutant, and
Okay.
it was a co-creation between Marvel Comics and Casablanca Records in the 80s.
Hmm.
And so she can convert sound around her into light manipulation that allows her to kind of transform things around her, kind of make crazy light displays. Every time she's used, she actually technically has been in the movies before, but it's only been in Dark Phoenix, and it's literally just, oh, light show kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Almost as if, like, when they first showed Jubilee in the TV show, where all she could kind of do was create
Yeah.
sparks. The power set is so absurd, and I think brings that comic booky fun to it, that I was like, oh, she could manipulate it so people wouldn't be able to see her. She can manipulate it to make her fly, which that one I'm like, I'm not crazy about, but whatever. But she can manipulate sound into light to do all these different things. I'm like, that's a really cool power, and also an excuse to have a killer soundtrack.
Sure. I was gonna say she does give me like Jubilee kind of vibes.
Yeah, it's before Jubilee is introduced, because Jubilee is much more known for the 90 comic
Mhm.
revival and the 92 show, and I love Jubilee. But Jubilee doesn't fit this iteration of my team. I am going to add more mutants as well as part of this movie, but those are the team I need. And I
Okay.
literally only put Nightcrawler on her team so I can have a little sizzle. And then
Okay. So do you want your list of character actors that you
I
can
would
choose
love
from?
my list of character actors.
Okay. We got number one, Stephen Tobolowsky.
No idea who the fuck that
Num
is.
You will when you look him up.
Okay.
Number two, Margot Martindale. Another person, if you don't know, you'll definitely know when you look her up.
Okay.
Um, J.K. Simmons,
Oh, hell yeah.
Judy Greer,
Okay, I can do something with Judy Greer.
Louise Guzman,
Oh, hell yeah. That's fun waiting to happen.
Catherine O'Hara,
Oh, hell yeah. I'll take Catherine O'Hara in a heartbeat.
a person I don't know, David Paymer. I'll look him up in a second. Tilda Swinton, who I think was in our random actresses.
Yes, so that's a ripoff.
Brad Dourif, love that choice. And then the last one is another person I don't know, Beth Grant.
Okay.
So let me look up David Paymer real quick.
How do I spell that, by the way, David Paymer? This is also great content that we're doing research farming as we're talking. It's
Oh,
hilarious.
okay. You'll know him. It's Paymer. I like he doesn't have any huge.
Oh, but everybody would know him. You're right. He is
Yes.
one that, like,
Yeah.
he's another of those. Oh, everyone would know this guy.
And
Margot
then
Martindale is another one.
and then Beth Grant is another person you probably recognize.
Oh, Margot Martindale's a great casting for someone. I
Yeah.
just got to figure out how to use her.
Yeah, and then Beth Grant was in like she was the girl in on the speed bus who gets blown up because she wants to leave the bus.
Hell yeah! I got to find a way to use her. She's been a heinous wench in so many
Yeah,
projects.
yeah.
I got to find a way. Ooh, that's giving mutant hater all day. I got to
Mm.
find a way to use that.
Yeah, like a racist senator.
Yeah, very much. That was exactly what I was thinking. What was the first one? Stephen who?
Tobolowsky.
Dablowski?
Tobolowsky.
Uh,
T. Oh, I don't have it up anymore. I exited out.
I found it.
T. Okay. Tobo something something something.
He's another guy that people would probably at least recognize as, oh, I know that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
The problem is all these are like, none of them for the most part are great choices to like put on an ensemble team of X-Men.
Oh, for sure.
They're all great little pieces. Like, I could see some comedy mutants coming forth with like Luis Guzman, Judy
Well, if you
Greer.
pick If you pick a young Brad Dourif, he's pretty versatile.
Well, let me look up Brad Dourif just to see what I'm doing here.
I'm specifically thinking of him in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He's also the voice of Chucky in the Child's Play movies.
Oh, Brad Dourif.
He's great.
Really,
I love him.
really interesting choice here. He's giving me okay. That can work. I can use him for something.
Yeah. Do you have like a little synopsis or like a little description of what your movies
All right. Give me
entail?
give me a second to ponder this. So
I'll,
I'm
I'll read mine out.
yeah. You go James Bond first, and obviously you know I'll have
Okay.
plenty of input for James Bond, and then I will look at the synopsis.
Yeah, this is a story that I kind of started writing a script to, but then I fell off from reading like spy novels, so I kind of lost a little bit of interest.
That's fair.
Okay, so it's after 007 is killed on a mission, M decides to bestow the moniker on an untested but promising agent named James Bond. So this is kind of an origin.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
and then we're going to cut to James on his first mission, which ends with Bond killing an unknown adversary. And then it will turn out that that adversary worked for the KGB, who now who they now assign a female agent to track and kill Bond. In time, we will learn that that female agent was married to the agent that Bond killed.
Ooh, that's
So it's
very
kind of
Spy Who Loved Me. It's very
yes, I was gonna say From Russia with Love as well, where it's
a
like
hair.
the
Yeah.
yeah, where it's like the female agent adversary that he's kind of has a thing with, kind of not. The main plot will be there's a bomb that goes off in some kind of like major parliament or government building. And then we'll learn that that was actually just a test run for a big world event where all the world leaders will be. And that
Okay.
that's where the main threat is going to be a bomb going off there. And it's set during the Cold War.
Okay. Very interesting.
So the destinations that I wrote down were Moscow, London, Budapest, which I think is going to be the first bomb that goes off. And then I was thinking maybe either Cairo or somewhere in South Africa. Because I'm like, Africa's like the big untapped locations in the Bond movies generally.
Ironically, Africa would have been a great choice for some of those zanier 70s and 80s villains if they were like
Hmm.
these egomaniacal like big game hunters. Like they could do
Sure.
Bond in the safari and all that kind of stuff. Like those that would have
Yeah, I
been
could throw that
perfect
in.
for some stuff. Or if you were going to say, it's a terrorist net kind of working there, you could go with the stereotypical like warlord and you could get
Mm,
like if it were me, I would use that very much similar to Casino Royale with all the parkour stuff at the
yeah.
beginning,
Yep.
where to promote him as his proving ground, he doesn't go crazy like Casino Royale because you got to differentiate your
Hmm.
Bond, but he goes in and he has to like escape after taking out a warlord who's
Yeah.
ruling that world. That's how he gets the big promotion into no, you're a double O now.
Oh, and I should also say, because each Bond kind of has their own vibe,
Yeah.
I would try to lean closer to Sean Connery. Maybe like a happy medium between Sean Connery and Daniel Craig.
Okay. You still want the
'Cause-
visceral action, but you don't want just the devil may care. I don't give a fuck about anything
Yes.
that Daniel
Yeah.
Craig's Bond has.
Yes. Oh, and then my song, I said I would pick Adele if she would come back, and then if not
Hell yeah.
her, if I could pick anyone from history, Karen Carpenter from the Carpenters,
Oh
who I think is
wow.
like one of the best female vocalists of all time.
That's a really interesting choice. You're going very throwback Bond. Is this a period piece
Yes.
Bond or is this a
Well,
traditional normal Bond?
it's it's set in the Cold War, so 70s, 80s.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. Also really good territory because everyone thinks the 60s is where you'd go because you can kind of do a little bit more of the whiz bang pow. But because
Mhm.
Bond was so zany during that Cold War stuff, to do a serious Bond, Cold War era Bond, would be really
Yep.
interesting. And I kind of dig that quite a bit.
Yep. That's what I got. So I already listed the cast I'm looking for. So what about you?
So the best synopsis I could come up with quick, because you've at least gotten to think about this and use this idea, where
Yeah.
I got this idea, had to go to work, had dinner with a bunch of coworkers last night, and then at like 9:30, actually 10:30 after I got the graphics done for our grid show a couple weeks back, that's when I could finally start doing this. And I was like, I don't even know what I want to do. For the X-Men, I wanted to avoid going straight into what normally people would do with your first X-Men movie. I'm going to have Magneto as part of the cast, but I don't want Magneto to be the main villain. I want to set him up for
Okay.
later. I want to set up the rest of the X-Men universe because I think one of the reasons why X-Men feels like, from a big screen perspective, X-Men feels a little bit on its ass sometimes, is because they tried it and failed, went back, redid a bunch of stuff in a better way or in a different way, and then got back to the same stuff. It never feels as though you get really new X-Men
Mhm.
stories, which is why so many people loved X-Men 92.
Well, apparently even Marvel's going to go back to the Fox characters,
I mean,
like actors.
they're doing that with Avengers Doomsday, but it's very clear that's not going to be what's going to happen
Okay.
after Doomsday and
Because I
Secret
was
Wars.
like, I was like, come, can we do something original,
I
please?
think it's really smart from the sense of you have a perfect project where you can blend all these worlds and all these realities. And the only thing that does work in their modern iteration of the multiverse is you already had a multiverse set up technically with how many different iterations of teams you had. Like you've had now three different, or technically four if you're counting the John Krasinski Mr. Fantastic, four different iterations of the Fantastic Four on screen.
Hmm.
You've had so many iterations of the X-Men because you've had so many different eras of the X-Men told by Fox, and you have the Deadpool iterations, and now you have the Deadpool and Wolverine iteration that you can play with and tweak however you wish. So it's a very interesting way to go and see how that is going to be. So if you're going to do this Secret Wars esque, we're going to smash everything together and clearly get back to. I don't think there's going to be any multiverse after
Hmm.
Secret Wars. Doomsday is going to be like, oh my god, can you remember seeing that? Remember seeing that? And that's where I think if there ever will be a final appearance of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I think it will be in Secret Wars because I think he makes the sacrifice play, so then you can finally go, no, 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 he's done. Like we are done with Hugh Jackman Wolverine,
Hmm.
so that now someone else can take the mantle of Wolverine and do something cool with it. And I think that's where they're going to go. So to avoid those in my storyline, I have Magneto in prison, kind of like he is at the end of X-Men 1 and the start of X2 X-Men United,
Hmm.
where that's the X-Men's big first achievement to get the government to kind of trust them. To at least some of the government goes, well, they just helped us take down the biggest terrorist in the world. How are we supposed to hate them? So I'm gonna go. Mr. Sinister is actually my greatest villain
Okay.
in this one, so I can set up so many different options with Mr. Sinister. So the real plot I have is the X-Men are fighting the public image issues that they have, that when crisis happens they come and save everyone, but they're mutants. So you have the big 50-50 split of mutants deserve rights or we hate mutants because they're better
Hmm.
than us and all these different things. At the same time that they're fighting these minor mutant threats, they keep getting reports of mutants disappearing and they don't know what's happening, and there's all these black market rumors that mutants are being experimented on by one giant entity that they don't know what it is. They're trying to track it down. So Magneto and Professor X can keep having the. It's not a Clarice Hannibal Lecter situation, obviously, but Magneto Magneto is kind of toying with him a little bit because he's upset about what happened, but he does know at the end I need to help Charles find him
Mhm.
because he's a threat to mutant kind and I care more about mutants than anyone except maybe Professor X. So while all this is happening, they also have this group of like young, very young, like teens, very early 20s at best, mutants that are banding together and they're just running roughshod, not knowing how to really handle what life is. They're kind of just lashing out at the hatred that they feel.
So you're going a younger cast.
Yeah, so the X Men can be slightly established. I would be looking for 25 to 35 with the X Men,
Okay.
the traditional team. But then my
Mhm.
young mutants to get some stars to go forward, like the rogue mutant kind of band, that's anywhere from mid-teen to like 22 is where I'm at. And the team I would set up for like the rogue mutants, I'd have Warpath, who's a Native American mutant who lost his brother Thunderbird very quickly, and he can kind of have a hatred because his brother Thunderbird was on the X-Men and died very quickly. So I think that would be really interesting. I'd love to do Colossus on that team and kind of show a little bit more of his capabilities. Sunspot would be a really cool one to have there. I would use that as a way to immediately establish that it's more of an international feel with the X-Men. That mutants can come from everywhere. They're not all just fucking
Mhm.
Americans. But that team's kind of irrelevant. They're more of a you're misguided and I need to guide you. And some of them would turn out to be Brotherhood of Mutants later on with Magneto, but some of them would turn into X-Men. So that'd be my way to kind of branch them. That's the only thing that's very reminiscent of like First Class, where half of them pick to go with Magneto and half of them pick to go with Professor X. But it's all about the manhunt for Mr. Sinister, figuring out who he is, and then what his dealings in the X Men universe are.
All right.
That's where I want to go with the X Men.
Do you want to go first? Pick someone.
You take it. You take it here.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get the Bond out of the way.
There's
And really,
one super obvious choice on that list.
really the only choices I have are Jason Statham, Idris Elba, Dev Patel, because those are the British people.
There's one
And
super obvious choice on that list.
obviously, the obvious choice is Idris Elba,
Yes.
but I'm going Dev Patel.
Of course you are. You son
I
of a
think
bitch.
I think he could genuinely play him.
I'm not saying he couldn't. I think Monkey Man also probably helped in that, so then people see
I
him.
was I was just about to say, if you haven't seen Monkey Man, it's it's directed and stars Dev Patel, and he pulls off a lot of great action in that movie. So I guess you can pick these people from really any age they are. So technically, I could have picked a younger Idris Elba, but I'd be going for 30-year-old Dev Patel.
Okay. Because that's the other thing. You got to kind of pick the age that you're going
Yeah,
with. Which, oddly enough, I get one very obvious choice for one of my cast members as well. uh,
yeah. I think I would. It'd be a Bond who has been working for the MI6, but he's not a full blown double O
yeah,
agent yet.
that's fair. The fact that you don't take Idris Elba is a crime, but I know the second you got Dev Patel, you were going to put Dev Patel in that goddamn role.
Yep, yep. If he wasn't there, it would have been Idris Elba.
Well, I mean, that's the worst part is they're taking so long and they elongated the Craig contract that I don't think
Yeah,
Idris will ever get a chance. Where I think 10 years ago,
no,
if it truly ended, I think Idris was a
yes,
shoe-in and would have been
I
so
agree.
good.
The only thing I could see, which is what I want them to do with like the Bond brand, I would rather instead of telling a cohesive story throughout like 3 or 4 films like they did with Craig, I'd like to just see one-offs where they can be set at any time with different actors playing Bond each time.
It's almost
That
Doctor
sounds like
Who-esque.
kinda, but like you could have Idris Elba playing a little bit slightly older Bond, maybe set in like the 70s or the 60s. I just think that'd be really fun to jump around like that.
It's also another way to liven up Bond to where it's just a different feel. That'd be an interesting
Mhm.
concept. I'd like to explore that more.
Okay. Who are you gonna pick first? Which character?
I think I'm gonna hit an obvious
Also,
one.
we can also choose the same actor, just so
Yeah,
you know. It's not like
I
they're eliminated.
I am going to take the most obvious one off the board and the one I'm most excited about, and I'm going to take Lady Gaga for Dazzler.
Okay,
I think
that
Lady
makes
Gaga
sense.
actually is a pretty talented actress when she has some material to work with, and
Mhm.
getting to see a little bit more of that fun side and that performer come out. I just went to Lady Gaga concert in September, and it was the best show I've ever seen in my life. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. Movie, television, concert, I don't care what it was. That was one of the best things I ever saw in my life because she brings such an odd, crazed, loyal enthusiasm to everything that she does that it's so hard to dislike once you see in concert. Like it's so hard
Mhm.
to be upset with Lady
Yeah,
Gaga and
I
what
mean,
she's
she
doing.
definitely goes big. That's for sure.
And I think that really
Um,
works for an over the top crazy character like Dazzler, where I could see Dazzler almost being obviously not Baby Driver esque, but you know how Baby always has to have the music playing. I kind of love the idea of Dazzler almost walking around with like a small speaker. Her phone is just constantly playing music, and that's how she kind of sets the tone for herself, so she can just fuck people up based off of the music. Almost a more serious version of Karen Gillan's character from Jumanji, where the music starts playing
mhm.
and all of a sudden she can dance fight. Do that, but the music allows you to see and feel her mood so well, and she kind of goes to it. So if she goes like emo rock, you're like, oh shit, we're fucked. Like, but then all of a sudden, if she's playing more pop music, she can do a little bit more of the light, bright, fun stuff. So I think Lady Gaga is gonna be my Dazzler pick.
Okay, I'm gonna go henchman next because I
Interesting.
think that there's a really great choice for it, and it's Bruce Lee.
Okay.
Because classically with Bond, you usually get a brute as the henchman.
Right.
But I think Bruce Lee would be, well, for one, he could kick anyone's ass on this list.
Yes.
Like, even though, like, there are some people who can pull off action, like Jason Statham and
Right.
The Rock, but Bruce Lee would kick their ass easily. So I would go Bruce Lee for that.
Interesting. Henchman Bruce Lee. It's giving Once Upon a Time in Hollywood vibes
Yeah,
when he gets his ass kicked.
yeah.
And I'm kind of here for it. Okay, I want to go. I want to get one of the big heavies out of the way. I'm going to take Adam Driver for my Mr. Sinister.
Okay, that's a good choice.
I wanted to almost put Adam Driver in that Cyclops role because I would love to see him actually get to be a hero for once. But I just think he could make a really compelling Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister has a character basis where he was attached to the Nazis, Joseph Mengele style.
Mm.
He's been alive since the 1800s because he's experimented with mutants, so he's constantly
Ah,
upgraded his mutant powers forever. So you could to
so
play such a sinister, evil character, but so
was
conniving and smart would be really fun.
so was Magneto and Mr. Sinister aware of both their Holocaust uh
It's always based on
histories?
the X Men continuity is so fucked that
Well,
it's
yeah.
difficult to know. That would be a really interesting choice where that could be Magneto being like, that would be a really good reveal for Magneto to have that crisis of conscience to where he finally goes,
Well,
"Oh, I know who it is. I thought he was gone long time." Like I would love to see an iteration of Magneto that I loved how they kind of showed him as this awkward, gangly teen in First Class
mhm.
when Sebastian Shaw finds him. I would love that it's kind of the end of the war and troops are being taken out of the camps, the concentration camp. I would love to see when resources are harder to manage the camps, That's when Magneto finally unleashes his mutant power, and he thinks like in the explosion, all the destruction that he causes to free people, Mister Sinister kind of dies. So he thinks, well,
Hmm.
that guy will never come back, and then he finally realizes at the end, like, I know who it is. You need to
Yeah.
find so and so.
Well, I just think like there's not something that can give a villain more sympathy than giving him probably the most tragic backstory of all time.
Oh yeah,
Not,
Magneto is not wrong. It's why he does it that's wrong, or the way he
yeah,
does it is the why it's wrong.
yeah, because it's like okay, he has probably the darkest history any human could go through.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna do my femme fatale, which is the female Russian agent. So I'm just looking at my choices
Just
here.
just just go silly and go Grace Jones. Go silly and go Grace Jones. Just like if you do a kill, do it. Do it. Don't be a coward.
Definitely not.
Don't be a coward. Do it.
I'm not. I'm just gonna avoid her completely because she's already been in a Bond movie.
Sure.
Oh man. Oh, and also it should be stated that Bond and this female agent will not have a romance subplot
You gotta throw romance in there somewhere, though, dude. It's
with the
Bond.
secondary Bond
Okay.
because I want this female agent. Ideally, she would be a recurring figure that can return,
Okay.
and then maybe in future there could be some romance. Like there'll be sparks, there'll be chemistry, but not an actual love story with
Interesting.
them.
Okay.
So really, my choice is the hard part is that she's Russian. So I'm like, who can pull off a believable Russian here?
That's the
Oh man,
that's the
you
key.
know
Who can
what?
do it?
I don't. The only ones I could see in my mind that could work is a young Meryl Streep, Emma Thompson, or Tilda Swinton.
As your Russian agent,
Yeah,
and they're
and none.
they're not recurring, correct?
Well, they would be in future.
If you're gonna do the recurring angle,
This because really this is like this becomes Bond's partner, really, within the movie.
oh, there's an obvious choice there, Dylan. It's Meryl Streep. It's got to
Yeah,
be
I'm gonna.
if it's gonna be recurring. If it was just gonna be a one-off Russian character, I think you go Tilda Swinton.
So that's what I was thinking, but I'm like, I don't really buy Tilda Swinton doing any action, really. So I'm gonna go young Meryl Streep from the late '70s. So we're
Sure.
talking like Deer Hunter, Kramer versus Kramer. So she's still obviously one of the greatest actresses of all time at that point.
Right.
But yeah, she's one of the only ones I could see pulling off a Soviet. It could be a different Soviet country, I guess. It wouldn't have to be Russian, but she's going to be a Soviet spy.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give you a twofer here, just so we can have a conversation. Because the crux of the X Men has to be Cyclops, especially
Okay.
if you're not gonna do a Wolverine centric.
I was going to say, usually that's what they decide to do instead, but
Wolverine's such a more compelling character. That's the problem. Is Cyclops so often in the comics? It's hard because I've had conversations with. If you've ever watched some of my other shows, a good friend of mine, Brandon's been on them. He's a huge Marvel fan, so we have these discussions a lot. And it's tough because Cyclops is not a bitch whatsoever in the comics, but
mhm,
he can turn into a really bitchy character because of
yeah.
circumstances, and he starts doing things that you're like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, brother. And he can turn where I think it's really smart. They turn Cyclops kind of into more of a villainous anti-hero at times because he's just so desperate to save mutant kind that he kind of forgets why he kind of forgets the Xavier way for a while. But it's
Mhm.
never the comics never make it as easy as like X-Men 92 does, where they're still always good. They have to make some shitty choices sometimes, but they're still clearly always on the right path.
I think they did good job of like showing at least somewhat of a complicated Scott within that new rebooted
Yeah.
Disney Plus
Yeah, 92 is
show.
so good. X-Men
Yeah,
97 X-Men 97 is so good. That's the best
yeah,
thing
I
Marvel's
enjoyed
done
it.
since that's the best thing Marvel's done since Endgame was that singular show. And
I would agree.
it's not even close. I don't care about movie or anything. It's not even close. That is cuz it's very true to the characters. It's the way it's kind of the Top Gun Maverick, if we're going to go back to our last top 5 episode, of how you do stuff as a legacy sequel. I'm going to honor it, but I'm also going to enhance it and bring out all these things that we couldn't bring out before. X-Men 92 does that really, really well. Or X-Men 97, I should say, I'm sorry. Which is why it's difficult, because I wanted a really strong Adam Driver for Cyclops, but I just think he's a better Mr. Sinister choice. And
Well, just looking at the list of other actors to choose from for a villain,
it's not great.
yeah. I mean, Robert De Niro could play a great villain, like a young Robert De Niro,
Right.
but that doesn't really fit with Mr. Sinister.
Yeah. I think you need to do something a little bit crazy, and that's why if I don't have Adam Driver, what's crazy is, out of all these choices, I'm going to take, of all people, Chris Pratt to be my Cyclops. He's at least got the look. I love the idea of him being a little too self-serious, and everyone's like, that's not who you are.
Are we talking like First Guardians, Chris Pratt?
I'm thinking Jurassic World Chris Pratt, where he's found that confidence now.
Yeah. So 2014, 2015.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to take Chris Pratt as my Cyclops. And the reason I wanted to say that I'm going to do a twofer here is I think you got to go Jean Grey and Cyclops should be cast very much like we talked about. James Gunn cast both Clark and Lois together. I have no idea how this would work, but Jean is so complicated, she has to be inherently likable the whole time, because it could be really easy to dislike Jean if you don't get the right person in it. Which is why I'm going to take one of the most likable actresses of all time and put Audrey Hepburn in as my Jean Grey.
Nice. She was actually going to be my next pick as well. I'm going to throw Audrey Hepburn in as my Moneypenny.
Ooh, very interesting choice for her. It's almost a waste of her talents. So you got to find a way to put Moneypenny in as many scenes as possible.
Yeah. Well, I just think, like, who's the most fun on that list of actresses?
Right.
And when I think of Audrey Hepburn, I think of, like, fun and just, like, really charismatic. And we're talking, like, Audrey Hepburn in the 50s.
Right.
So Roman Holiday-ish, Sabrina.
Yeah, of course. You have this whole really nice way of doing things with Audrey Hepburn.
It would be fun to see Audrey Hepburn try to do Jean Grey, because Jean Grey is inherently such a dark character at times.
Well, it's kind of this almost split personality that you can be really loud with. Because I was going to go a young Meryl Streep has such a likability to her, but she can play dark and twisted. But I mean, I would try to stay away from Dark Phoenix for as long as I could in this franchise. Because
that's a smart choice.
Everyone wants to get to Dark Phoenix because it's a really interesting character and the power set's even more cool visually. The problem is, for that to work, you have to set up the tragedy of Jean Grey. And if your whole story is based off of Wolverine half the time, and then you're like, oh, she's the Dark Phoenix now, you're like, she didn't go through half the shit you need to do to make this eventful. It just feels like something happened to this female character now.
Yeah.
And
It's never been a good depiction of Dark Phoenix.
I mean, the show did a good job with Dark Phoenix.
Sure, but not in the movie.
But not in the movies. So that's why I think Audrey Hepburn will be a really interesting choice for why does everybody like Jean, but can play a little bit more of a complex. There's something going on in the back of my head at all times that I can't necessarily control, but would give these really wonderful character moments of that very protective, in both good and bad ways, Professor X, Jean Grey vibe. That would be, I think, really interesting and fun. The problem is, I don't have anyone to play fucking Professor X or Magneto, so I really got to work on that one. That's the problem.
I guess the real question is, are you gonna pick two British people to play each? Are you gonna like stay true to that?
I would like to.
Okay, so you got Dev Patel and Idris Elba and Jason Statham.
Because I think a lot of these actors are tailor-made for a fun one-off appearance as a mutant. You know?
Exactly. Well, the hard part is Professor X inherently needs to have, like,
Gravitas.
like a that and a warmth to
Yes.
him. Like it does not work if you don't have that.
And none of them have that. What am I supposed to do? Give Mark Wahlberg the role of Professor X?
That I was gonna say that's the person I'm avoiding like the plague for my movie.
Oh yeah,
Once
there's
you have
no way
Mark
in hell.
Wahlberg, I instantly go not interested.
No, exactly not interested.
Unless you're picking like maybe Boogie Nights Mark Wahlberg, then I could see it being good, but definitely not modern day.
And there's no one with outside of De Niro who's the best actor on this list, right? I've kind of taken some of the decent choices off. Like Adam Driver would be a really interesting Magneto, but I don't know if
I mean,
I
like
want an old.
Jim Carrey's an underrated actor.
But is he Magneto?
No, definitely not. Like I would say Idris Elba might work as Magneto
I think that'd be a really interesting way to update the character.
because he does have a believable like moral greatness.
I think based solely off of circumstance, Idris Elba is going to be my Magneto. So
Okay. Unless you want to pick Arnold. Great actor.
I did jokingly think of putting Sylvester Stallone and Arnold in those roles, just to be like, let's go real stupid. I'm trying to make this actually work, though.
I was gonna say if I do have a secondary henchman, I think Arnold and Bruce Lee as a combo
That'd be
would be
fun.
really fun.
Be really
Because
fun.
like one's small and fast, and the other's just a fucking Hulk.
Yeah. It would be extremely interesting to have that there. But yeah, I guess my fifth pick, I'll take Magneto as my Idris Elba.
Okay. I'm gonna cast my Q next. And there's one person, two people actually, that I really think could work here. Ironically, they're both mostly silent film actors, either Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin. And I think I'm gonna go with a young Mr. Keaton
And this is for which role?
for Q.
That's fun. That's
Yeah,
a fun
like
role to have.
yeah, I don't know. I definitely have not seen a Buster Keaton movie where he talks, so I have no idea what his voice sounds like. I love him as a filmmaker. He's fantastic. And probably the ballsiest actor of all. Like, you think Tom Cruise likes adrenaline? Buster Keaton was doing shit where it's like,
You could die
okay,
at
if
any
this
moment.
goes, if you're 3 inches to the left of something, you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I really respect Buster Keaton, and I'd love to see him take on, like, a serious role.
Yeah.
Even though Q is a pretty fun character.
Q is very fun, and it'd be very interesting to see. I think Ben Whishaw was such a great casting for that because brought a lot of snarky fun to Q that character needs. Where once Desmond Llewellyn is out of the picture because of his death, it's so hard to.
I think Ben Whishaw was the successful version of casting John Cleese in that role.
Yes.
Where, like, John Cleese never really worked for me as Q, but Ben Whishaw was like the same level of dry, sarcastic fun.
Right. Well, John Cleese can work, but they were changing the character, but the character doesn't get to last more than a movie, really. And you're just like, well, then what was the point of bringing John Cleese into this? Like,
was he not playing the same?
He's playing R. Because remember, they bring him in. Bring him in World Is Not Enough as Q's predecessor. Because they're sensing Desmond Llewellyn's not going to be around very much longer.
Yeah.
And they were right because he died during production. And then that's why they have John Cleese there for Die Another Day. And then they get rid of the Pierce world entirely outside of Judi Dench.
Yeah. I love that they carried that over, honestly.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it was really smart to do that. So now I've got myself a pickle here. I need a Professor X. That's the most important part.
John Wayne.
And I'm not kidding when I say this. The best choice out of the 20 that we were given originally is Bill Murray for this role. Think about that. Because he has a warmth and a likability that Professor X needs.
I mean, you could pick Charlie Chaplin. It'd be interesting.
I thought about that, but I also have on my bench that you gave me, I can throw J.K. Simmons into that role.
Oh yes, I forgot the character actors. Yes.
And I could throw J.K. Simmons in there, which works because I know in a pinch I can really elevate him quickly.
What, you don't want Luis Guzman as your Professor X?
You will be shocked. No, I do not want Luis Guzman as my
I
Professor
would
X.
I would love to see just like an AI version of that kind of cast where it's just like ridiculous choices the whole way around.
So, do I go with Bill Murray or do I go with J.K. Simmons? I think because I am trying to keep this pretty serious, I will take J.K. Simmons as my
Okay.
Professor
I
X.
like that. I forgot. Are you gonna cast a Storm at
I
all?
am
Is
going to
she in
cast a
your?
Storm,
Okay.
yes. Well, that's an obvious choice, but I don't think I'm going to
Yeah.
take the obvious choice.
So the other three roles that I'm looking at are a villain, a secondary Bond girl, and M.
Mm-hmm.
And M, I'm thinking I'm actually gonna go like Judi Dench tangential. I'm gonna go Emma Thompson
That's a nice choice.
because to me, Emma always needs a sternness with a hidden warmth to it.
Yes.
Where like deep down you can see they care for Bond, but they're always frustrated with him.
Well, I thought the best dynamic that was struck was around and that was carried through with all of them. And it's shown better in the Daniel Craig films. But what I really enjoyed was when they made Judi Dench M around the Tomorrow Never Dies era when she's had a true Bond experience where she
Mhm.
goes, I need to trust him. And everyone needs to shut up and trust him. And she has this inherent trust because she's like, that's my guy. And I will back
Yeah.
my guy to the day is long. Doesn't matter if I want to punch him myself, but that's my guy. And especially if you're going to tell this raising up of this new agent into the status of a double O, I think it'd be really smart, especially if you play Dev Patel as kind of the underdog Bond, where she goes, no, I believe in him. And she will
Mhm.
grill him till the end of the day because she's picked him and she's like, no, we're in the foxhole together, though. So that's
Yeah.
why I think that
I
role really works. I think the warmth comment is a really smart one for that.
yeah. So I'm just looking for a villain and a secondary Bond girl. Your cast is a lot bigger than mine, that's for sure.
Yes. Well, also, it doesn't help that my best choice was for a absurd mutant character in Dazzler. So, oh boy, I want to
I
stay.
I think there's a really great. Well, you could just do Halle Berry as Storm again, but
Well,
I wouldn't
that's.
do that.
I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go with Zendaya as my Storm.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that seems pretty obvious.
Well, I also think what would be really nice with that is Storm is from Africa, and when it's played correctly, she's been with them since her youth, but not like Scott and Jean have, where she
Mhm.
kind of lived a little bit of life on her own and then made her way to the team, depending on the iteration you say. And but I love the idea of Zendaya is a very good, powerful actress when she wishes to be,
Yeah,
but you can almost she almost has the J.K. Simmons effect again, where you can kind of downplay them for a while when you don't need them to be the focal point, but then when you need them to be the focal point, they can pop out of nowhere and be that.
yeah. I think it'd also be fun to see Zendaya in that role because even though she's in the Spider-Man movies, she's not given anything to do in those movies ever.
No, not at all. The other thing is, I mean, if I were casting this the '80s, I could go Grace Jones, but there's Grace Jones is
You,
a.
you can pick Grace Jones at any period of time.
The other thing is, I am contractually obligated from this show to sign a way to put Michelle Yeoh in this movie somehow. So
Yeah.
I got to figure that one out. But
She could have played Jean Grey, maybe.
I mean, it'd be
It'd
an.
be changing the character, but
I mean, who cares? Who fucking cares?
exactly.
But yeah, I'm gonna take Storm as my for Zendaya. I'll take Storm.
Okay.
Do you want me to take it? Do you want me to do some twofers here just so I can get through it?
Yeah, because I only got two more things to cast.
Give me. I'm gonna take a young Jim Carrey as my Nightcrawler.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take young Jim Carrey as my Nightcrawler.
Are we talking like 1994? Are we talking even before that?
Let's go '94 when he's found his voice.
Okay.
In Living Color, Jim
That's what I
Carrey
was
could be
thinking.
really fun for that. Because the thing is this, Nightcrawler can be a really nice dose of fun, but I love getting the acting talent of Jim Carrey out there, Truman Show-esque Jim Carrey,
Mhm.
who can play that devout Christian man of faith that Nightcrawler has. But yeah, I'm going
The
to take
only one
a young Jim Carrey as my Nightcrawler.
that's where I would have picked Buster Keaton
I thought about it. I thought
because
about it.
like they kind of have a similar vibe to
Yes.
them, Jim Carrey and Buster Keaton.
But yeah, I'm going to take Jim Carrey as my Nightcrawler. This is such a ridiculous cast. This is
Hey,
an AI cast if I've ever seen it.
that's the problem with doing it random is like you never know. It could be good, it could be bad.
Oh, God.
How many more you got to go?
I need an angel, a beast, and an Iceman, and then my absolute necessaries
Oh,
are
you could
over.
do Michelle Yeoh as a young Jubilee.
I could, but I want to.
I'm just trying to think of the Asian
Oh, I mean, if
superheroes.
I were gonna do it, I would put Psylocke. I'd go with Psylocke and put
Oh,
Michelle as Psylocke.
I didn't realize she was Asian.
It's a very
So why'd they pick
complicated.
Olivia Munn?
It's a really stupid and complex.
Also, one of the worst portrayals of a superhero ever, in my opinion.
I don't think anyone succeeded in that film,
That's fair.
and it's sad because they finally set up a really good young cast to be the X-Men. Outside of Sophie Turner, I don't know how they got
I I agree. Sophie Turner is not a strong enough actress.
to be Jean Grey. Like, that's the thing. You need a powerhouse to be.
Hmm.
If you're talking who needs to be the best actor on an X-Men stage, if it's not Magneto, it sure as hell better be Jean Grey. They need to be the one and two best
Yeah.
actors on that stage.
The three roles you need to nail are Professor X, Magneto, and Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Unless you're just gonna disregard Jean Grey completely.
And that's a different story. That's an option that you could do.
Yeah.
And you could do that if you went, well, Jean died because of the Dark Phoenix saga, but
Yeah. I think I'm gonna pick my director next.
okay.
So the ones that I'm really interested in are Spielberg. I don't know if Miyazaki could do a live action, but it'd be interesting.
I almost wanted to take Miyazaki just because I want to see what Miyazaki would do with a live action
Yeah.
movie.
And then the other one is Jordan Peele. But I don't know if Jordan Peele can pull off action either. So I think I'm just gonna have to go the obvious way and just do Spielberg.
Well, I mean, the whole reason we got Indiana Jones is
Exactly.
Spielberg wanted to do James Bond, and George Lucas said, "I got something better for you."
Yeah.
And at the
I
time,
mean,
he wasn't wrong. Indiana Jones is way better than James Bond.
100%. But like, I think that'd be kind of fun to. I'd throw like maybe post ET Spielberg, so he's not completely out of blockbuster range.
I think '93 Spielberg's perfect because everyone thinks, "Oh,
Oh, that's true.
that's the turn." I'm like, in the same year he did Schindler's List, he also did Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
So it's not as if, but you have that maturity to him then.
that's true. Actually, yeah, that's fair.
And, and
Probably
then
like nine.
he's already done things like he's also learned the pitfalls and the perils of some of his choices. But he's learned, he's done The Color Purple. He's done Empire of the Sun.
That's true.
He's done
Yeah, it's
the
fair.
fuck is that terrible?
Always.
Yeah, always. He's done that, so he's learned what he's good at.
1941,
He's
another flop.
he's learned what he's good at and what he's not good at. But you also have that action set piece mindset
Yeah.
done really, really well.
So we're talking 94 Spielberg.
Yeah, that would be a nice choice. So I'm gonna go here. Oh boy, I gotta round this cast out and find a way to make it fun and interesting. This is absurd, but that's why I'm gonna do it. I found a way to use him. I'm gonna make Bill Murray my beast. It's a CGI
That's fun.
character, anyways, but he has to be
Yeah.
erudite and intelligent, but he still has a sly, dry sense of humor that I think Bill Murray would do really well with.
Which era?
I'm thinking.
Are we talking Ghostbusters or Groundhog Day?
I was thinking Groundhog Day.
Okay, okay.
So I'll take Bill Murray as my beast.
So early 90s, Bill Murray.
Right, and then I gotta find a way to make Iceman interesting, which is really hard to do.
Iceman, yeah. I, I I shit on him earlier, but a really young Mark Wahlberg could be good in that role.
Actually, I was
If
thinking just to give Iceman some more fun than just I freeze stuff, the visual impact of a Bruce Lee as a young
That'd be fun.
Iceman could be fun.
Or you could do Police Story
Jackie.
era Jackie Chan.
Yeah, actually, just so we don't use the same one, give me Jackie Chan. Because I will say this in watching Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee's really cool, but I don't know if Bruce Lee's super likable.
I agree. I don't think he is.
Whereas Jackie
He's
Chan's super likable.
yeah. Bruce Lee is likable in the sense of you respect him. You don't love him like you do Jackie Chan.
That's why I think one of the great shames, obviously, dying young as an actor, dying young ever sucks.
Yeah.
But dying young as an actor is the what if scenarios come out. And how fun would it have been to have Bruce Lee through the 80s?
Exactly.
And then once he develops a little bit more acting talent, getting him to play some heel characters, some real villains that can kick
Yeah.
ass, that'd be fun.
I see Bruce Lee if he had continued to make movies. I see him as like the Jet Li kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because Jet Li's not inherently likable
No.
all the time. He plays a villain quite a few times. So like they're both incredibly skilled martial artists.
Right.
And then like they could develop further. Okay, I'll do my villain next. And this one, I'm not sure if I want to do an actor or an actress.
This is your main villain.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger.
And I'm gonna
do it, you coward. Schwarzenegger, do it.
I am gonna steal one of your ideas. I'm gonna have him be a big game hunter because there's nothing that I hate more than a big game hunter.
There you go.
Like they're the scum of the world.
You could do Idris.
I was thinking Idris could be good there.
Or if you want to make him really unlikable, Stallone.
I was thinking De Niro, Idris Elba, or let me look at the females here. Tilda Swinton could play a great villain. I think I'll just go Idris. I think that's the easiest one. He's intimidating enough too.
Yeah. You feel like if you fight, Idris can do something. Like, all due respect to De Niro, unless it's like Craze, Travis Bickle, Taxi Driver, it doesn't feel like De Niro's going to fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Where Idris feels like he could fuck you up.
The one if I went De Niro, I was going to choose like Cape Fear De Niro. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've seen little bits and pieces of Cape Fear.
He is the biggest fucking creep in that movie.
Yeah.
He plays a great villain. But, again, that doesn't fit super well within a Bond movie.
Right. Alrighty. I am gonna...
He plays more like scuzzy characters than he does.
Yes. That's why he's really good in mob movies, where there's an inherent cool factor, but you hate him still at the same time. Alrighty, I gotta round this cast out here. I am gonna take your boy Dev Patel as my angel because I want to get to Archangel. I want to get to some more complexity, and I think Dev Patel could be a really fun choice for Angel.
Love it.
So I'm gonna take your boy Dev Patel as my angel.
I actually completely overlooked him, but it would have been cool to get a young Keanu Reeves in my movie as well, but I just can't seem to fit him anywhere.
I have an idea for Keanu that I'm saving as my last.
Just roll through some of your picks then. I only got secondary Bond girl to pick.
So I've got Lady Gaga as my Dazzler. I have Adam Driver as my Mr. Sinister. Chris Pratt as my Cyclops. Audrey Hepburn as my Jean Grey, which I think I'm the most excited about. My Magneto is Idris Elba. And my Professor X is J.K. Simmons, which I think is a really interesting dichotomy there.
And then you're going to use Beth Grant as your racist senator.
Yep. So I'm going to use some of these character actors. I have plans for them, and I do want to shout them out, especially if you did the work to at least find it. I know you only put it into ChatGPT, but at the same time, I want to use them since we've announced them. My biggest thing is just to finish my twofer here. I don't know how I'm going to fit it into this movie now, but fuck it. I need to put Michelle Yeoh in this movie, so she's Psylocke.
Okay, I like it.
I don't know how Michelle Yeoh is going to feel about that outfit, so we're going to have to figure some stuff out with that one.
Hey, you can do whatever you want. They made it completely boring, so you can change it.
Well, which is hilarious because they actually did a very accurate Psylocke for the most part. It's just Olivia Munn
Yeah.
didn't have
Well,
anything.
the problem is whenever they do something like that, it's so clear the intention behind it. Where like, why is her outfit like that? Because they can show more.
Right.
Whereas like if it was like I think of like He-Man, where he just wears like the speedo,
Yeah.
they would change that immediately.
Right.
But because it's a woman, they're like, nah, we're good with this.
You know what I'd like to do actually, since you brought it up, I think it would be an interesting theme to see, is I'll put Psylocke as my one of my rogue mutants that's kind of teetering between good and evil. And I'll use a Michelle Yeoh, and I would have a more traditional Psylocke outfit behind it, and I can tell a little bit more of a backstory. I can have Michelle Yeoh as kind of one of their leaders. I would have like two very obvious leaders, and one goes Brotherhood of Mutants, one goes X-Men. But then to show a little bit more of that maturity, in the next one I would have a little bit more less risque version of it, because then you could show this like really tense, angry youth just expressing themselves and not thinking about the consequences of it. Psylocke with Michelle Yeoh, and then like a really young Michelle Yeoh, and then as she's maturing, she gets to be more tactical with her decisions, including her outfit.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really interesting. I know it's so stupid because it inherently shows the sexism of filmmaking in Hollywood that we have to talk about their outfits and something like this, especially. And then you add the superhero component where you have like, well, we want it to be accurate to the comic, and one of the most intriguing things about Psylocke is the outfit. But at the same time, you're like, that's not practical
It's
in
not
any.
necessary.
It's not practical or necessary in any way for the action you're asking this character to be a part of. But then also, that's a great 1-2 punch fight with Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh as Iceman. Yeah, I think a Michelle Yeoh Jackie Chan fight or freezing powers versus psychic blades would be really cool. Throw that samurai sword in there as well. Oh, excellent! I love that idea. So that's gonna be my two first here, and then I'm gonna just kind of spitball some shit out with the character
Go
actors
for it.
later. Or I'll just do it now. Actually, I'm gonna throw in. I want modern day Margot Martindale as my good senator, my good, like an intelligence officer or like an intelligence administrator who really does believe in the X-Men, who believes they need to do something, so they have their inside source that believes in them.
If you didn't pick J.K. Simmons as Professor X, I was picturing him as like the president.
It would be fun to do. Or Margot Martindale could be a really fun president that really believes and has to give the impassioned speech at the end saying, we need to.
Or you throw the Canadian in there, Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, I think I'm going Catherine O'Hara. I'm going to use her as Moira McTaggart, who's got a whole
Okay,
different
yeah,
thing
yeah.
in. But I think having a J.K. Simmons and a Catherine O'Hara that have this backstory together that's kind of flirtatious, sort of romantic, sort of not romantic.
And the only one I could see other than her is Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Moira inherently would be a good. Tilda Swinton would be a good inherent Moira McTaggart, so I might have to find a new use for her. But I want Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara is just such a likability to her that
Hmm.
I don't want to make Catherine O'Hara a villain. That's just stupid.
Yeah,
But I don't think even at her in her younger days, Catherine O'Hara gives me mutant hero. She gives me just more fun,
yeah, she definitely has to be a human.
but she has so much warmth and likability that I want to make sure she's a part of something. That's where I see that. Brad Dourif would definitely be one of my rogue mutants. I think he'd be great for
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And then Beth Grant, as you said, would be my really shitty racist against mutants senator,
yeah.
who's and you just know she's a conservative Republican. Just
Well, of course.
really Christian fundamentalist. That's actually
Yep.
really nice touch because then I can go into those touches of the mutant world where they start violating their own rules because they get their own mutant team to take out mutants for the
Mhm.
name of God, which is a really interesting side plot in things. I'll give Judy Greer my just for a fun cameo. She's gonna be an intelligence secretary that really believes in them. I'm thinking like Donna Moss from The West Wing vibes. That's what I'm thinking for
I
Judy
have not
Greer.
seen West Wing, but I'm
I
sure other people know.
it's a good vibe. And Luis Guzman is just gonna be one silly mutant somewhere. I gotta put Luis in there somehow
Yes,
to do it. And David Paymer will be another senator who just as would be
that
Stephen
fits.
Tobolowsky. Just senators just saying stuff.
Hmm.
And I think I'll make Tobolowsky a good senator. I'll make Paymer, a heel senator.
That fits.
I'll make him the middle ground, where he doesn't trust mutants. He thinks they're dangerous, but he's at least torn. Tobolowsky will be my they deserve rights, they deserve everything, and Beth Grant will be like fuck mutants, I hate mutants, senator. And then I will make sure that she dies by falling off an exploding bus somehow in this film. I will figure
Oh, I
that
like
out
that.
just so we get the nice touch of speed. I will find a way to do it somehow, some way. Or
Okay.
I didn't want to do this. I was thinking Magneto get to set up the next one. Magneto escapes in like the last scene, or if we were gonna do the post credits kind of bullshit, Magneto escapes with the help of Mystique, who I don't know who I would cast as Mystique. Tilda Swinton would also be an interesting Mystique.
Hey, Michelle Yeoh could fit that.
Michelle Yeoh could be fun. Be fun to see Halle Berry in that role, getting to play a little bit more serious, a little bit
Yeah.
more things of that nature. Let me look at this list just in case. Here,
Lucia Ball, Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton would be interesting. I think it'd be really fun to use all these actors in Mystique roles, but then find a true
Sure,
Mystique.
sure. So everyone who you didn't pick is gonna play a version of Mystique.
That would be fun, but I only need one appearance of Mystique at the end. I would also, I'm not gonna lie, I would find Aquafina that if I were gonna put a Jubilee in this, Aquafina would be my Jubilee, but I'm not gonna do Dazzler and Jubilee at the same time. I'd have to separate them somehow. I need Dazzler to be established before I go into Jubilee. Otherwise, their power set's gonna look way too similar and not gonna
Mhm.
work. So that's what I do with those. But if I want to make the bus work, I kind of love Magneto escapes during the climax because everyone's distracted. And the movie ends with that senator being really uppity and getting on a bus, and then it just gets fucking crushed into a little cube of metal. And it's Magneto just crushes that senator to show, I'm taking your hatred. Just an Idris Elba Magneto just going, that'd be fun.
So, okay, so Magneto's a full-blown murderer in yours.
Well, I mean, he's an say what you will. Magneto's a murderer in every iteration of it. You know.
That's true, he is. I'll cast my last role here, which is the secondary Bond girl. And really, the choices I think I have, I think Zendaya's too young.
I would agree.
I'd say my choices are between Lady Gaga. I'm not going to pick Halle Berry because she already was a Bond girl.
Be fun. Could be fun. Could be
And
fun.
Michelle Yeoh was already a Bond girl.
Yep.
So it's really Lady Gaga, Dolly Parton,
What about a Mae West?
Mae, or Mae West. Yeah. I'm gonna go.
You don't want to take J Lo? How dare you?
No, she's not a strong enough actress.
You know also who you already filled Moneypenny, but also who could be a fun comedic Moneypenny would be Aquafina.
Oh, I was gonna say Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton also could be fun in
Uh,
different ways.
Dolly Parton's Money Penny would be like instead of him hitting on her, she'd be hitting on him
Yes.
constantly.
Yes.
That'd be fun. I think I'll go Mae West as my secondary Bond girl.
Okay. That's Sophia Coppola.
Definitely not. She's like the Mark Wahlberg, where I'm like, nope, not interested.
Not interested. Don't want to touch her. Yeah, I. That's fair. I will take.
Oh, and if I had to choose a someone who could do the song from this list, I have a couple choices too,
You
because you
do.
got Lady Gaga, Zendaya,
J-Lo would be an option. I don't think it'd be a good option, but she would be an
J-Lo.
option.
Yeah.
Queen
Well,
Latifah could rap it if you want to do a completely new editor.
Barbara Streisand is a good singer, actually. I think actually I'm gonna switch it so Adele is not a repeat. I'll go Lady Gaga. I think that'd be interesting.
Yes. I'm going to take my director, and I'm going to take Jordan Peele.
Okay, that's fun.
I think Spielberg is awesome, but I don't see Spielberg
Yeah,
doing an X-Men film.
I don't see him doing any kind of really supernatural stuff
The thing
besides
is,
sci-fi.
the one thing I think like Spielberg would be really interesting for X-Men if you were doing a really, really heartfelt examination of the prejudice of the
Sure.
X-Men. But then you can't have, not that you can't, but it would be a lot more difficult to balance that with some of the whiz bang pow fun of the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Where Jordan Peele, I think, can do that underlying tone.
Mhm.
So I don't think anyone's better at that than Jordan Peele of doing that underlying tone of discrimination and otherness. And I think that would work so much better for the X-Men to where you can still have all the fun. Like I look at Nope, and there's just this underlying cast of characters that always feel downtrodden by society, and you still can have this absurd fun with Nope, and it's such a fun movie to watch that I think if you,
Mhm.
especially with a black Magneto, could be really interesting and really fun.
Sure. Yeah.
And then having all those interlocking dynamics of race relations put into the conversation by mutants, and you could still do the race commentary even other ways with your black characters and your white characters that Jordan Peele could do so well with.
Mhm.
I think Jordan Peele would be a really interesting choice for X-Men. He would be one of those. I would love to see Jordan Peele do a true comic book movie and just like let him cook. Just get out of his way and let him cook, and we'll see what he does.
Yeah. I think that's a good choice because like looking at the other directors, yeah, I there's not much
Because
in
the only
terms
other
of
one I could think of is I would honestly, if someone said you got to trust a franchise live action film to him, Miyazaki, I would do X-Men with Miyazaki because he does
yeah,
the whimsical but otherness really, really well in his films.
yeah, or Taika, but he's already done superhero,
I
so
don't ever
like
want to see a Taika Waititi superhero movie ever again. I'm so done
I
with Taika Waititi. I'm
and
so
yeah,
over Taika Waititi.
well, his tone just would not fit. I'd be curious to see a Spike Jones X-Men movie.
That would
I
be
think it'd
really
be
interesting.
ridiculous,
I think
but
that'd be fun though. But Spike
see, now
can serious it up though.
if this was early 2000s, you know who the popular choice would be? Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez would be very interesting. Now, I will say my last note, because it's a popular fan casting, if you're going to do the outsider poppin' and out Wolverine, that's where I'm going to put Keanu in.
Nice.
I'll put Keanu as my Wolverine.
Are we talking like Point Break or later than that?
I'm thinking John Wick.
Oh, okay. So an older.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had an idea that I don't think I would execute this, but one idea I had was one of the captured mutants that finds his way out of Sinister's plots, but wouldn't be able to identify Sinister, would be like a crazed, savage Wolverine after he's gone through Weapon X and everything, but his mind's still so jumbled. He's enough of a savage that he claws his way out when Sinister's not there, but he's just such a jumbled mess after being fucked with so many times that he can't be a liability to
Yeah.
Sinister. And then it would be a really nice tease when they're going through Sinister's lab freeing mutants, and just that nice three claw stroke everywhere, and you're like, it was fucking him! I'm telling you! And then you just have one nice little scene to be like, hey, BT Dub, Keanu's Wolverine. And you're like, nice.
I'd be okay with that, honestly.
So yeah,
Um,
that was my idea for Keanu, was Wolverine.
okay. Did you cast everything?
Yeah, I've cast everything.
Okay, so what's your wild card gonna be?
Oh boy, that's the real question here. Because I don't even know if I have one. I would almost use it to replace one of my actors. I just don't know who I would replace them with. Actually, I think I do. I would actually use my wild card to replace one of my actors.
Okay.
I'm going to take Chris Pratt out of my Cyclops role, and I'm going to replace him with Robert Redford.
Okay, that'd be an interesting choice.
And then I have Robert Redford and Audrey Hepburn as the complete heart and soul of my film.
So are we talking like,
Butch and Sundance.
okay, so it's around 1970.
Yeah. He's he's
I like
he's
that.
clearly the guy.
Yeah, he's still a star at that point.
I want Robert
Um,
Redford as my Cyclops. I need those two to work. So I'm going to put the two most talented on my list there. And there's
I
an
like that.
inherent likability to both of them, but you can buy Robert Redford having to make choices that he doesn't want to make but still being likable.
hmm
So I'm gonna replace him with Robert Redford.
I my wild card, I think I'm gonna pick a composer, and obviously the obvious choice is either John Williams because it's a Spielberg movie.
Uh-huh.
I could have John Barry return to the franchise because he's probably the best of them.
Well, you said your tone is 60s or 70s, 80s Cold War.
Yeah,
I thought I'm not trying to talk you into using the most obvious choice, but think of that Catch Me If You Can era John Williams getting to do Bond.
I
If
think I will. I'm gonna pick John Williams. It's just an obvious choice.
Also, could you imagine if tomorrow, even tomorrow, not even back in the day, tomorrow they just went, "Oh, by the way, Steven Spielberg's directing the new Bond movie." You'd be like, "What?" Oh yeah, and John Williams is doing the
That
music. You'd
make
be
me
like, "What?
interested.
What?"
It'd be awesome. Okay, so running down my movie here. We got a Bond movie set in the Cold War, so 70s, 80s. My song is going to be sung by Lady Gaga. And then we got Dev Patel as James Bond,
Of fucking course.
Idris Elba as the villain, his henchmen, Bruce Lee and Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Mm-hmm.
the femme fatale, the Russian agent, Meryl Streep, secondary Bond girl, Mae West, my M, Emma Thompson, my Moneypenny, Audrey Hepburn, and my Q is Buster Keaton.
I like that.
Oh,
So,
and then my the gadgets that I wrote down was a lipstick camera because that seems pretty believable, and an exploding cigarette, and because everyone's smoking back then, I mean, you offer them a cigarette, they're gonna take it.
mm-hmm.
And then the other one I had down was I called it a trident knife, which I pictured as like what I pictured immediately was like on stabbing into a car,
Uh-huh.
and then the knife like splits into three parts, so it's kind of like a anchor, so you can like stay on while it's driving.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So I went with the X-Men. The X-Men have successfully become a team. They are known, but they are still fighting the mutant prejudice in the world, and it's kind of the 50-50 of mutants existing, whether humans like them or are afraid of them or fear them or hate them.
Oh, when is your movie set?
I would set it pretty much modern day.
Okay,
I don't think you can go back and do another period piece X-Men film.
probably not.
I just don't think that's going to work. And if it does, I think the only way audiences would appreciate that is if they did the 90s team. And if you do the 90s team, you got to do the 90s team. You can't do half the 90s team. You have to do the 90s team.
True.
Which means you need Wolvie, you need Gambit, you need Rogue, you need. Like, I left a lot of heavy hitters out of this
Yeah.
film intentionally because I want to establish my core group. I still have three of the big five or six, but I want to establish them. So the X-Men are still fighting public perception. Mutants are being abducted and getting experiments done to them. No one knows why, and it's secretly Mr. Sinister. And an imprisoned Magneto and Professor X have to work together to figure out who the villain is and where they are and all that kind of good stuff. While also the X-Men are dealing with young, angry rogue mutants that don't know how to take out their frustrations, and they're doing it in a very not so good way. So my cast here, I have Lady Gaga as Dazzler, my Mr. Sinister is Adam Driver, my Cyclops was originally Chris Pratt, who I used my wildcard pick to replace with Robert Redford, my Jean Grey is Audrey Hepburn, my Magneto is Idris Elba, my Professor X is J.K. Simmons, based off of my character actor list that Dylan got for me. Zendaya is my Storm. A young Jim Carrey is my Nightcrawler. Bill Murray is my Beast, which is a real wild pick. A young Jackie Chan is my Iceman. Dev Patel is my Angel. A young Michelle Yeoh is my Psylocke. Jordan Peele is my director, and I have a nice cameo of Keanu Reeves as Wolverine to set up the rest of my franchise.
All right.
Interesting.
I like it.
Interesting. This didn't turn out as bad as I thought it could have been.
Yeah, I think it's a fun exercise because you're kind of forced into stuff at times,
Well, I also
which I
think
enjoy.
I think exercises like this are really, really interesting and also valuable for fans to do because everyone thinks, why didn't you get this guy? Why didn't you get that guy? Why don't you get this girl? Why don't you get that girl? But it's money, time constraints, so many things. It's as if a studio team said, these are the people that are available to make this movie. Because we need to shoot it at this time, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to launch it, right? So these are the teams that we need to go for and go with that. So it's a very interesting vibe to see. But again, very valuable to see where we're going. And it looks like Dylan froze on us, but it's fine because we're ending this episode right here and now anyways. So fun episode. Check out some new episodes coming your way. We're going to have more game shows for you, more reviews, all kinds of good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening wherever you are. We appreciate it. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Goodbye!